morning. God bless you. Happy Saturday to you and welcome to October. Man, here we are in the fall of the year and all of the opportunities and ministry of the fall is now beginning. And I know it certainly is looking different for you and your place of ministry, but God bless you as you lead in the fall of 2020. Last week I started a series of teachings with you. It'll probably be a two-part series on tests, and I just titled it, This is a Test. And I want to remind you that in James chapter 1, it says this, consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Tests develop, tests result in something positive. There's always a test. Our leadership gets tested. It may be an internal test, it may be an organizational test, it may test your faith, it may test your management, it may test your relationships, it may test your finances. And God doesn't hide the fact with us in His Word that He will be testing us. God, however, isn't testing us to make us fail. He's testing us in a way because He badly wants us to pass the test. In fact, He wants that so much that He tells you in advance that there's going to be a test, that you can count on the fact that there will be tests. And yet, even with God's advance notice that you will be tested, God still specializes in the pop quiz of life. The thing that's clear is that we are in a time where we are being tested. There are many tests that are going on right now for ministers, for church leaders, for the church itself. We are being tested right now in our structures and our philosophies and our approaches, even our understanding of what the church is. Moses is one of those men in Scripture who I love. I love his example, and I relate very easily to some of the mistakes that Moses made and the things that he did and the things that he omitted doing. He was a man who was a great leader. He was greatly used by God, and he was a man who was tested. In Moses, I shared with you last week, I see three major areas where Moses was tested, and they're areas that I believe each of us is being tested now. Last week, we talked about the test of self-leadership. Today, I want to talk to you about the test of influence. In Exodus chapter 2, verses 13 and 14, it says this, the next day he went out and saw two Hebrews fighting. He asked the one in the wrong, why are you hitting your fellow Hebrew? Verse 14, the man said, who made you ruler and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian? Then Moses was afraid and thought, what I did must have become known. Moses thought that he could commit murder and maintain moral authority. His influence will be tested because of previous actions. Please hear me on this. Your actions today are not just about today. The manner in which you lead, handle challenges, manage the frustrations, and resolve the problems of today will have direct impact on your ability to lead with authority tomorrow. Moses will learn that when you lose your cool, you give away your authority. Moses has buried a man in the sand, and the next day he sees two Hebrews having a heated argument. He tries to influence the situation. Why are you hitting each other? Why are you treating each other in this way? Is violence really the best way for you to handle this situation? And one of the Hebrews looks at him and says, are you going to kill me too? Moses tried to declare moral authority, but his previous actions marginalized him. Only then did Moses understand the cost of the decision of killing an Egyptian. Only then did Moses understand why he was looking this way and that before he committed murder. The who we are today is predetermining who we will be in the area of influence tomorrow. Moses took things into his own hands, and an Egyptian died. His influence took a hit. Anytime you take things into your own hands, something's going to die. Anytime you take the plan of God and do it in your own strength, something's going to die. Anytime you decide that your anger is going to take the front seat on the resolve of God's issues, something is going to die. People, ministries, marriages, relationships, all of them die when we mishandle ourselves. It's expensive to sacrifice so much. My friend, lead today in such a fashion that when you have influence, that you will have influence in the future when you arrive there. Today, you are making deposits into the you of tomorrow. Make great deposits. Don't make huge withdrawals on your influence. I guarantee you that today is an influence building day for you, and it is influence that each of us is desperately going to need just several days from now. And the last test I want to discuss with you that I see in the life of Moses is the test of confidence. This is in Exodus chapter 2, 14 and 15. The man said, "Who made you ruler and judge over us? Are you thinking of killing me as you killed the Egyptian?" Then Moses was afraid and thought, "What I did must have become known." When Pharaoh heard of this, he tried to kill Moses. But Moses fled from Pharaoh and went to live in Midian, where he sat down by a well. In chapter 3, Moses is with God, and they're having a conversation. This is the single most significant conversation of Moses' life to this point. It is his calling. It is the answer of prayer for Israel. It is a world-changing, history-altering moment. Look what God says in chapter 3, verses 7 through 10. He says, "I see the need. I am answering the prayers, and I am going to use you to do it." God is keenly aware of what's happening. God knows exactly what's going on, and he says, "Moses, I'm going to use you to fix this problem." If you drop down to verse 23, it says this: "During that long period, the kings of Egypt died. The Israelites groaned in their slavery and cried out, and their cry for help because of their slavery went up to God." Have you heard that time heals all wounds? In this story, a long period of time has passed. Pharaoh dies, but the effect on Moses remains. Look at Moses' reply in verse 11. "But Moses said to God, 'Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?'" Look at verse 4, or chapter 4 and verse 1. Moses answered, "What if they do not believe me or listen to me and say, the Lord did not appear to you?" Both of these statements are responses in light of Moses' earlier actions in Egypt. Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh? In light of the fact that Pharaoh had tried to kill Moses, his fear is that the new Pharaoh will do exactly the same thing. What if the Israelites don't listen to me? They wouldn't listen to him in chapter 2. Here's the point. Years later, the result of Moses' decision is still affecting him. It is shown in the area of broken confidence. The balance of chapter 4, God works on reestablishing the confidence of Moses. Confidence is based on God and his ability. Our confidence can get wounded by poor decisions. Poor confidence can make obedience in God's plan very difficult. The test of confidence is one that every leader has to pass. Every leader must have confidence in God's call, confidence in God's strength, confidence in God's ability, confidence in God's provision, confidence in God's ultimate victory in the situation. confidence in God's understanding of the situation. Confidence, my friend, is key. Moses will struggle with confidence because of his previous actions. In challenging times, live, lead, and manage the challenges in a manner that will not make confidence a problem for you in the future. This is a test. A test of self-leadership, Exodus 2:11. A test of our influence, Exodus 2:13 through 14. And a test of our confidence in God and his ability to resolve the set of circumstances in which we find ourselves. Exodus 2:14 through 15. God bless you, my friends. May you lead well this weekend. Even in a time of test, may you be found faithful, effective, and doing all that God would have you to do. Be blessed and lead them well.